Switzerland votes in favor of burqa ban. A far-right measure to ban facial coverings won a slim victory in Switzerland on Sunday, March 7th. The proposal does not explicitly name Islam and also aims to stop violent street protesters like Antifa from wearing masks. Despite this, local politicians, media, and campaigners have dubbed it the burqa ban. Practically no one in the country wears the burqa. The University of Lucerne estimates that only around 30 women wear the niqab. Muslims make up only 5% of Switzerland's population of 8.6 million people. Amnesty International stated, quote, after the ban on minarets, which are the slender towers that are typically part of mosques, a majority of Swiss voters has once again backed an initiative that discriminates against a single religious community and needlessly stirs up fears and division, end quote.
Okay, what's the point of this? Do you have an idea?
So this is a lot of the messaging that I've seen around it was like anti-Muslim bigotry. Like, it would just be photos of women in niqab and being stop extremism.
Okay, let's let's separate these. I can never say that word properly.
Compartmentalize.
Yes. What are the people, okay, the people who are promoting this versus the politicians who are made this into law, right? So what's the reasoning behind the politicians? Like, what's the logic behind why this is a good idea?
So, wait, I wanted to find a quote. Just a second.
Yeah, Ghost Bunny is a member. Thank you.
Ghost Bunny became a member. Thank you.
Thank you, Ghost Bunny.
Frickin', I'm going to slap my computer. Quote, in Switzerland, our tradition is that you show your face. That is a sign of our basic freedoms, said Walter Wolbelmann, chairman of the referendum committee and a member of the parliament for the Swiss People's Party, had said before the vote. He called facial covering, quote, a symbol for this extreme political Islam, which has become increasingly prominent in Europe and which has no place in Switzerland.
Okay, this is nonsense, okay?
It is.
If you want to make an argument that this is for security reasons, then I will still be skeptical. I would be like, okay, like show me the studies that shows that this is a security concern. I highly doubt that this was a security concern if only 40 women were wearing it in all of the country, right? If you're like, this is about freedom, this is the opposite of freedom. What are you talking about? Like, we are banning something to show that we're free in Switzerland. Like, repeat that again, but slowly. Like, I don't...
Hey guys, before we get back to that video, YouTube has fully demonetized our channel for supposedly hateful and harmful conduct, without telling us what we did wrong. If we get to 1,000 patrons, we will be able to keep paying all our team, our editors, our artists, without ever having to worry about monetization again, which would be amazing. Yay! So please support Atheist Republic on Patreon. Link in the description below.
Wait, okay, so I'm not saying the government should not have bans here and there, because, right, sometimes bans on things or like government restricting things and telling us to do certain things for, you know, not limiting freedom makes sense if there is a legitimate harm, right? Like, for example, wearing masks during a pandemic, okay? Yeah, like, okay, your freedoms are being limited because we have scientifically proven that this is a harm that the government needs to step in, okay? We don't want absolute freedom. We want regulations and stuff that is the benefit in the best interest of society, okay? So that makes sense. But if you come and ban something, not because you've shown what the harm is, but because this is the culture, this is the symbol of us, and we celebrate freedom here. Like, you're not celebrating freedom here. What are you talking? It's a symbol of, like, in our country, we're banning here because in our country, women are free to wear whatever they want. Well, up until now, not anymore. What are you talking about? I don't get it. Somebody explain to me. Maybe I'm missing something here. Rivka.
Yeah, I think if you're gonna try and say it's for this reason, that it's, you know, we don't do this, and in Switzerland we show our face, then it seems very exclusionary and pointed, and sort of making some people real Swiss citizens and some not, you know, this line. But these face covering bans always strike me as so interesting and ironic, because you have in this case, you know, a lot of times when they get a lot of butthurt happens around it, a Western country banning what women can wear and dictating what they can wear and what they can't wear. But I don't hear the same kind, especially from some of the Wokistanis, the same kind of concern for women's freedoms. And it's religion or Islam telling millions of women what they should wear or what they can't wear. So that's one point. But specific to a ban, I think if you say no face coverings in airports, banks, courthouses, that seems reasonable to me. And I think that you, just because you're a woman and a believer, you don't get a special pass in a lot of those places, because the face covering thing is so sexist. And I always bring this up. There's women walking around high security areas with faces covered, nothing. But try a man walking in a bank with a ski mask.
I think we're missing the point here, because Rivka, because this is not really about airports. Like,
right,
I would get
that's
it.
why I'm saying that's where I support it. You were asking for a response. I do support it if that's how you're talking about it and that's what you mean. But if you're just outwardly saying anyone who does this isn't on our team, which is basically what they're saying, then I think it's because they're saying this is who we are. And in Switzerland, women show their face.
I wouldn't even mind if they said that, hey, like, this is not our culture. They're banning it. This is making it elite. This is not like, hey, if you want to enter this bank, you need to show your face. Hey, if you want to be in the airport, we need to see your face. Hey, if you want to take a driver's license, we want to take a picture of your face. This is not even in that, right? So, like, Susie, did I misunderstand the news? Like,
you're
this is
right. Like, I'm saying those are the only.
Let me finish my question. I know. I know you know, Rivka. I'm just clarifying. I'm just trying to clarify my understanding of it, and also maybe if anybody is misunderstanding what's happening here. And I also want to ask Susanna if this is like what's happening here. Like, this is not specific situations where, like, oh, in this context, this is going to be a security threat. They're banning it in public in the entire country. Is that what they're doing?
So,
no, just
this
is that what they're doing?
Rolled out as a stop extremism thing. So I was looking at some of the visuals that were put out to help push forward this motion and referendum. And so there were two pictures that I saw most frequently. One was like an Antifa person, and they had big dark glasses on, black ski mask, doing black bloc, if you guys know what that is. And then the other one, but no expression. And then the other one was a niqabi with a very angry, mean expression. And they both just say stop extremism. So and some of the verbiage that I've seen hasn't necessarily mentioned security, but they did mention that it's also aimed to block face coverings for violent protesters like Antifa doing black bloc.
Can we get this clear? Is this ban in public in the entire country? Like, that's what they're going to do? Is that what this law going to be for?
That was basically my understanding. Right.
So, yeah, this is insane. This is insane. I mean, I'm willing to be skeptical and be like, okay, fine. Like, this is going to be a security threat. Okay, I will sign. I will be like for it if you show me the data. But this is like fear mongering. I mean, look at I mean, look at this. Is this the politician that's pushing for this? I don't know who is pushing this. I don't hear.
A meeting place at the supporters of the initiative.
Okay, look at this. Look at the picture behind her.
That's the one I was talking about. It's an angry, mean niqabi. But the guy who's an Antifa has no facial expression. It's just a guy in black bloc.
This is like oh yeah, the niqabis are coming for you. Like this is absolute disgusting fear mongering.
This is why I said it was, I believe this was anti-Muslim bigotry, and I don't say that lightly, because in what world does this make sense in a country of several million people that only less than 40 people wear this?
Yeah, and also, like, guys, if we are here against the niqab, it's not because we fear the niqabis. We are against the niqab for the sake of the niqabis. We think they're being like brainwashed into a modesty culture. Like, we're anti-modesty culture, but you don't fight modesty culture by banning, like making it illegal for people to wear the certain clothes that they. You ban modesty, you not ban. You fight modesty culture by informing people the harm in modesty culture. Niqab is promoting modesty culture. You don't ban the niqab, and people are like, "Oh, this is bad. Niqab is bad. Niqab is sexist." Yeah, I know, but you can't outlaw sexism. You cannot be like, it's illegal to be sexist against women. You have to educate people against tell them why niqab is sexist, why it's modesty culture, why it's not a good value. That's why you do it. But this is not these people, they're not doing this for the sake of the woman who are being whose these values are being they're being used to harmed by them, right? They are, look at them, they are making the niqabis the enemies themselves. Like, they're like, oh yeah, the niqabi is gonna come get you. Fear the niqabis. This is absolute disgusting fear mongering. Rifka, what do you want to say?
So I have some answers to the questions. So in some Swiss sites, it said that they want to introduce a clause in the Constitution. It's not just a piece of legislation. It's a clause in the Constitution. That's like a step up. Okay. And it says outlawing face coverings in public spaces. So non-medical face coverings. Right. I was about to say on the street, in the park, the grocery store, those would be considered probably public spaces. Exceptions are for security, climate, or health. So if you have to wear a gas mask in a public space because you're, dealing with whatever, you can do it. Yeah. And you can still wear whatever you want in your place of worship. So that's a little bit more about exactly what it's talking about. Yeah, I think that there is definitely some fear mongering here because they're not talking about it in the context so much of security or equality or, it's, and they're saying, that they're in support of women, but I'm not sure if that's really what they mean. But also I wanted to say this was very marginally passed.
Yeah, it was slim,
and
narrow.
It was very slim, and also it was a very small voter pool. They're saying like they don't think maybe only 50% of people even came out to vote. So and it's only the 23rd time in 130 years that they've accepted like a citizen referendum or a citizen initiative. The first time was in 2014. And they have to get like 100,000 signatures, blah, blah, blah. But, and here's to your point, the government and a lot of the parliament opposed the ban because they said it was unnecessary because of the low number of niqab wearers and because the way Switzerland is divided up, they're all into cantons. So if they want to legislate that for themselves, almost like a state, they can. So it's not necessary to make it nationwide and, add it to the Constitution. So that was what I thought was some interesting just context about it.
Okay, here's the thing, Dolly, you're not listening to me at all. You don't understand what I'm saying. Saying Dolly's saying, no, wait, you support niqab, Armin? Oh my God, guys, this is not that hard of a concept. Okay, you could, oh my God, you could be against the values that the niqab is promoting. You could be against what the niqab symbolizes, and also at the same time being against laws that tells women what to wear and not what to wear. These two positions are not mutually exclusive. There needs to be if the government wants to say that the niqab is causing harm to society, the burden of proof is on them. They have to prove it. They have to prove the harm. And the harm, they can't just prove any harm. They have to prove a harm that is higher than the harm that is involved with the government getting involved in telling people what to wear. It has to outweigh that harm.
And that wasn't really the emphasis of this motion, this referendum. That's the thing, because Armin you're not even necessarily against so-called burqa bans in general, just not for this reason. Like,
yeah, there needs to be a good goddamn reason, right? And okay, so, and even some bans might be like, you know what, in public you can wear it, but I would be more in fact, maybe like be ready to accept if somebody says like, well, you can't wear it as a government official, right?
Oh,
or you can't wear it as an employee in the bank or something, right? You could be like, okay, there, I can see that, right? There's some points there. I mean, if they allow it for Muslim women, but they don't allow other people for non-religious reasons to have their face covering, that's a form of religious privilege that shouldn't be allowed. We are against religious privilege. Like if there are some laws for non-religious people that they can't cover their face, or they can't promote their politics or religion or philosophy while they're at work, then religious people, whether they're Muslim, Christian, or Jew, those same standards should apply to them as well. So in those situations, I could be like, okay, I see why a ban here I see the arguments for a ban, okay? But if you ban it in public for why? Like, you better have a goddamn good reason. Like, what is this? This is, guys, we're not like, we don't say like we're anti-Islam because Islam limits your freedom. We don't just say that because we're anti-Islam. We're actually looking at the harm of Islam, right? We're not anti-Islam because on principle we just hate Islam, okay? We look at the cost of Islam, and that's why we're against Islam. So if we are against the consequences of promoting of Islamic values because of the way it limits your freedom, because of the too much authoritarianism, do you think we're not going to have the same standards when other form of limitations of freedom comes into play, when it doesn't show the harm reduction? Again, I'm not saying, oh, like these anarcho-capitalists who say like, oh, no government, like, no, we should be able to do whatever we want. No, okay, no, I'm for capitalism, but I'm also for regulated capitalism. I understand that there are certain harms that the government needs to step in and like, here's a regulation, you can't do this, you can't do that, you need to wear a mask, you need to get vaccinated to be able to do this. Those make sense, okay? But the government's job is to prove you the harm before they pass law. They can't be like, well, this is our culture. Since when the government have become the arbiter of what's the culture? Cultures organically change, come and go, okay? If you don't like certain values, that's the job of activists and people to fight those, inferior cultures. We come and, talk against them and tell you why this is not a good culture. It's not the job of the government to come and like, we're banning this culture, we're allowing this culture.
I mean, governments do, and it's called cultural genocide.
Or Iran does it and says that, their culture is, the cover, the hijab. But this is some interesting stuff, too, that so this woman whose name is Saida Keller Masali, who is the founder of the Forum for Progressive Islam in Switzerland, she actually backs the ban. She said the result, meaning that the yes vote on the ban, was a rejection of totalitarian ideology, which has no place in democracy. She added that she thinks the results will be, quote, understood abroad. The Islamic Council of Switzerland, however, said that in their opinion, the vote sort of anchored Islamophobia. The Constitution anchored that in the country. So to me, like, he's kind of saying, like, when we had a lot of these pre-same-sex marriage, you know, federal decision, some states in the United States, or they wanted to have a federal, you know, ban on same-sex. So they're, you know, getting people to vote on not really liking one group or another.
Yeah.
You know, and sort of cementing that in their constitution. Now, like I said, I think that this seems very adversarial in the sense that I think it really is sort of a us versus them thing they're working on here. You know, like, if you're part of Switzerland, you don't wear this because we have this open culture, so therefore you're an extremist. Although, like I said, and like Armin pointed out too, like, if you're talking for, you know, no religious privilege, equality between men and women, security reasons, sure, I absolutely would support it. But just for somebody to go, you know, to the grocery store or take her kids to the park, it seems that that then becomes a little bit draconian and totalitarian.
This doesn't, people are not understanding that this doesn't mean that we don't think that hijab and niqab are harmful. We do.
Yes,
This
people
is just
don't get it. People don't
authoritarian.
get it. People think that if you're against banning something, that means you're promoting that thing, that you're saying that's a good thing. You know, that's okay. You know what? Let me make it simple for you guys. I don't think the government should make it illegal for you to cheat on your partner. Like, if you go and sleep around against the wishes, let me make this point, because people are a little bit dumb on this. Okay, I don't think the government, if you go cheat on your girlfriend or your boyfriend or your wife or your husband or whatever, I don't think that should be illegal. Does that mean that I am pro cheating? Like, oh yes, Armin doesn't think it should be illegal, so Armin, like, yay, cheating on your wife, hooray. Okay, look at, okay, so here's, let me show you this. Okay, Dali, I know I'm putting you on the spot, but I'm just using your comments. Okay, so like Dali saying, I'm talking about Muslim women. Too many of them were forced to wear the niqab and hijab too. Yes, they shouldn't be forced. They should not be forced to wear the hijab or the niqab, and they shouldn't also be forced not to wear the hijab or the niqab. They should not be forced, okay? Either way, it's very simple. And there was another comment by Aryan, okay. Okay, Aryan is saying this is a security issue. Simple, if everyone covered their faces, though, to catch and find criminals, thus barring medical medical excuses, no faces. I don't know what you're, okay, here's the thing.
Except for, you know, a mask for COVID.
Okay, not everybody's going to wear the niqab. What are you talking about? First of all,
only less than 40 people.
Only less than 40 people in the entire
country. And how
country.
often are Antifa running around Switzerland? When Antifa's doing black bloc, that's for specific direct action.
But here's the thing, even if that was the case, that's not the argument they're making. They're making it so easy. They're saying the quiet part out loud, that they just hate these people and they want them. This is like a fear-mongering tactic. They're not even mentioning security. Like, at least in some other places, they're trying to do fear-mongering, but they're saying, like, this is for security reasons. Like, where's the evidence? This is for security reasons. Just believe us, okay? But here, they're not even trying to mask it as a security reason. They're not even making that point. Let me see what some of these comments. Jay is saying, ridiculous government decree is not how to win people. Oh, yeah, fantastic. Somebody makes sense here. Government decree is not how to win people away from religion, and by singling out this religion in particular, it's just emboldens the xenophobic far right. You win people over to secular ideas by making more space for their inclusion, not less. Yes, wow, this I've never seen that. I always never seen a good comment like this.
Usually it's just a nightmare.
Usually it's a nightmare. Wow, Atheist Republic Facebook page commentary is improving. Andrew saying, okay, so this is the one that I want to highlight. Logically, if a country is able to enforce women to cover their face, some nations in the Middle East, then it's quite acceptable that the other nations will ban it. Andrew, you're a moron. Andrew, you're an idiot. So let me tell you something, Andrew.
Cool.
They also, let me just put some other phrases here, okay? So logically, Andrew, in some countries, they kill people for leaving Islam, okay? So let me just see if your logic works, okay? I'm just saying, logically, if a country is able to kill people for leaving Islam, some nations in the Middle East, then it's quite acceptable that other nations will kill people for leaving Christianity. How about that?
No. The real analogy would be they would kill people for joining.
Oh, joining. Yeah, for joining Islam. How about that? How about that, Andrew? Do you want to apply that logic because they do it? You want to do the opposite? That justifies it, makes it acceptable? And look, you got 36 likes and 1 heart. Amazing. God damn it.
So, you know, you were talking about security and things like that, and how this law seems, or this legislation seems specifically targeted at one particular group. Mostly, you know, Muslims, although they're saying extremists. Here's the thing is that I think there's 26 cantons. They said over half of them already had, before this came up, regulations in place that banned all face covering or face, you know, wearing during demonstrations and sports events. So that those laws already existed before this even came into being. So if you're actually talking security, this is, you would just have to expand the places where you find it necessary to see people's faces to laws that you already have. You know, because a lot of people don't realize that, but there are laws, like, for example, the United States, there's a law about covering your face in the United States when you're driving across state lines. It's illegal. And that came from Ku Klux Klan or the bad K people, but it doesn't matter because we're demonetized. The triple K. It's driving across state lines to do horrible racist things. So out of North Carolina, this law said you can't drive with you can't cover your face on a U.S. highway, interstate. But that's a specific security concern, same as like the laws that already exist in Switzerland. So I just thought that was kind of interesting. And just sort of it shows you that it's not really about that.
Yeah, just I'm going to make one last comment and then we need to move because we spent 30 minutes on the first news. It's so amazing to me that so many right-leaning people who constantly say that the government is not the fix for everything, right? That if just because you don't like something, that doesn't mean the government should step in and ban it, right? When it comes to the things that they don't like,
they become authoritarians real quick.
They're like, why wouldn't you ban it? This is bad. This is bad. They're like, guys, you guys were the people that like, why are you relying on the government to come fix all your problems? Okay, fine, it's bad. Why are you guys were supposed to be like limited government people? God damn it,
they get authoritarian real quick, really quickly. Salva Kumar became a member. Thank you, Salva. Oh, and Armin, you moved all the emotes over here too, right? So
yes.
Use the emotes on this channel. Okay, cool.
Yeah, well, not all of them, just 5 of them, because we need more members to be able to use more emotes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Hey guys, if you're a fan of blasphemy and sexy Kali, you know, like me, then that means that you probably want more blasphemous art. Well, I have good news for you. If you subscribe to our newsletter, link in the description below, then you get a free booklet of some of the tastiest blasphemous art available today. So, if you want some of this delicious blasphemy, and we're so generous that we update it for you guys weekly for free, all you have to do is sign up for our newsletter below. You can also go to blasphemousart.com/ebook. That's blasphemousart.com/ebook. Sign up with your email, and you get free gifts of this tasty blasphemy. What could be better? So make sure you sign up, link below,